Signs of the times, friends. Signs of the times. So we go to Matthew chapter 24, where Jesus elaborated on the signs of the end of the world and of his second coming. And without much ado, I'll go to Matthew chapter 24, where the disciples ask him, and it says, "And Jesus went out and departed from the temple, and his disciples came to him for to show him the building of the temple. And Jesus said unto them, See ye not all these things? Verily I say unto you, there shall not be left one stone upon another that shall not be thrown down." And that happened of the temple in the year AD 70, when the Romans invaded Jerusalem and burnt the temple of Solomon to the ground. And it says, "And as he sat on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, Tell us, when shall these things be, and what shall be the sign of thy coming, and of the end of the world?" Providence would have it pointed out to us, friend. Jesus answered and said unto them, "Take heed that no man deceive you." Take heed. Be careful. Be on the lookout. "For many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many." Yes, sir. "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled." See that ye be not troubled is the key word here. "For all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." I guess when World War I came around, people thought this was surely the end. And then World War I passed between 1914 and 1918, and Christ did not show up. And people thought, oh well, let's see what happened next. Then there was a period of calm. And then come 1939 with Hitler, wanted to rule the world. And all hell broke loose, and World War II was much more devastating than World War I. Between those two wars, it is reported that over 50 million people lost their lives. But the end was not to be yet. Have mercy. All right. "For nation shall rise against nation," Jesus says, "and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famine and pestilence and earthquakes in diverse places." Here we have it again. Earthquakes, Jesus tells us. And since the last decade, we've seen so many more devastating earthquakes, which are happening more frequently and with more intensity now. Remember the earthquake of Indonesia in 2004, Boxing Day, December 26th? How devastating that one was. Covered so many countries across Asia, and so much devastation. The end is not yet, Jesus says. "There shall be pestilence." With all the insecticide we have and all the antibiotics, never before there's so much dangerous infectious diseases that is afflicting mankind, plants, and animals. So it's not just mankind. The whole creation is suffering because of the effects of sin. "There shall be famines." Remember the great famines in Africa and so many other countries right now. We get so used to them that they don't even bother us anymore. Right? And all these, Jesus says, are just the beginning of sorrows. Just the beginning. If this is just the beginning, friend, I don't want to see the end. I wish if you'll take me to sleep. I don't want to go through all that suffering and that torture and that torment. "Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted," talking about his own people, "and shall kill you, and he shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake." Listen, when the people of God begin to give the true testimony and stand up and rebuke and reprove, not like these watered down, smooth messages that many of these ministers are telling the people now. Comfort messages, false reassurance, these preachers giving people just about getting rich and getting healthy, getting healed. So Satan is acting upon those and to deceive people that these ministers are God's messengers, when in truth and in fact they are not. Because Jesus tells us in same Matthew chapter 27 verse 21 that he said, "They shall come saying how they cast out devils and prophesied and perform miracles in his name, and he shall say unto them, Depart from me, I never knew you, you workers of iniquity." Know the book for yourself, friend. "And then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another because of the truth." love of the world, not converted. And because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. Iniquity, evil, friend. Now we find it being displayed in so many areas. People just for themselves. They will do anything to get a last buck. They'll betray their mother, sell their father, deny Christ, sell their bodies, commit fraud, sell drugs, do prostitution, both men and women, sell children, abuse their authority, do everything to offend, to get money, to live big at the expense of the health and well-being of others. Even the politicians who are supposed to be protecting the people are the ones who are involved in organized crime and deceit and fraud, hurting the people and then telling them lies up front. You can't trust the people who are in position of trust. You can't trust your doctors. They'll give you bad drugs just to get kickbacks from drug companies. You know, people should use clean, brand new or disinfected instruments when you go to the dental office. They reuse needles and all those things to save $1 at your expense and then infect people. Police and judges who should be protecting people are at the hands of bribe and corruption, doing all sorts of evil at the expense of the people who they are supposed to be protecting. You send your kids to school, teachers defraud them, abuse them sexually and otherwise. People who you think should be protecting your young people from drugs are the ones seducing them and introducing them to drugs. The tobacco companies were lacing the cigarettes with double amount of nicotine to get people hooked, to make money. But Jesus says, he that endured unto the end, the same shall be saved. He that endured his faith, keep your faith until the end of your life, shall be saved. Or until the end of the world shall be saved. Not half and half. Then he went on to say, and this gospel of the kingdom shall be preached in all the world for a witness unto all nations, then shall the end come. The gospel, the true gospel, not just any gospel, the everlasting gospel, must be preached to all the world for a witness. Then shall the end come. A special gospel, the true gospel, about how to keep God's commandment, and that by grace are we saved through faith in Jesus, right? And that you must, when you are converted, you keep God's commandment. All 10 of them, including the Holy Sabbath day. Not just a little part, right? Because the 10 commandments were written by God's own finger. You read that in the last verse of Exodus chapter 31. Written with the finger of God. That's why Satan hated so much. And he seduced the preachers to preach that it's no longer binding on a human being. To hollow, honor all God's holy commandments. When ye therefore shall see the abomination of desolation, spoke of by Daniel the prophet, stand in the holy place. Whoever readeth, let him understand it. Christ says, stand in the holy place. Make sure you're on holy ground, friend. Christians, it's no time to palaver. It's no time to have one foot in the world and one foot in the church. Whatever you have a weakness on, present it to the Lord. Whether it be sexual immorality, pornography, adultery, fornication, lay it aside. If it's drinking, lay it aside. If it's gambling, lay it aside. If it's dishonesty, lying, covetousness, you need to pour out your heart before Christ. You need, if you're not baptized, you need to find yourself in the flock of Jesus. Read St. John chapter 10. Jesus tell you, my sheep know my voice. St. John 10:27, and they follow me. Be sure you know Christ's voice, so that you do not follow the voice of the devil, of the enemy, or anybody else. He said, then let him which be in Judea flee into the mountain. Let him which in his house stop not come down to take anything out of it. Neither let him which is in the field return back to take his clothes. Right? And woe unto them that are with child, and to them that give suck in those days, the young mothers. Right? But pray that your flight be not in the winter, neither on the Sabbath day, because Jesus knows it will be hard time. He says, for then shall be great tribulation. For then shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world, to this time, no, nor ever shall be. And except those days be shortened, there should be no flesh saved. But for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. God bless you, friend. Hear ye the word of the Lord.